Well, hello. We are with Jose Maria Simone. Jose Maria is president of in Uniapac Internacional. International. It's an international association of leaders that are leaders of companies that work for a better world. So. Good afternoon, Jose Maria. Thank you for your time today for Agenda RSE. We know about your work, about your publications in this webpage. And well, could you tell us a little bit is Uniapac and what are your main initiatives in around the world and in Argentine?
Okay, hello, how are you? Florencia. Uniapac is a business organization, Christian business organization. It was created in 1931 by request of the Pope at that time, asking business leaders of Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, and France to try to put in practice the Popularium Progressio Encyclica. That means that the working experience was not a slave process. It was a dignification of people working. Since then, this organization has been growing. It started obviously first in Europe, then in Latin America, today we are in Africa and Asia. There are 39 countries around the world with more than 30,000 members, personal members. And this represents a population of around 3 million persons that are impacted by what we preach in Uniapac. Basically, what we do in Uniapac is try to put in practice concepts of the Christian social doctrine. That means we look for the dignification of the person through the job, what they dedicate and what they give for the work they are doing. And this is how we've been developing during the last 86 years.
Thank you, Jose Maria. And you mentioned that you have a tool, that you are using a tool in several countries like Mexico. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, since many years ago, we have been talking about corporate social responsibility, but we have created a book called The Profit of Values, and then this was published in 2008. And after that, 3 years after that, we have created a process to put that in practice. It was called the Protocol of the Corporate Social Responsibility. And this is, as I said, it's a process on how to put in practice the concept of corporate social responsibility focused on the human development. This tool today is being practiced in Mexico and Ecuador and some other countries in Latin America mainly. And what does it mean is how you have to make changes of in your organization, in the business organization. First of all, of the attitude of the leaders, and then how do you transfer this concept into to the rest of the organization. We look how is the relationship of the company where we are working with all the stakeholders around the company, and how do you manage and how do you prepare the business plan as well as the strategy of the company based on the concept of corporate social responsibility, but looking how you will help the development of the human being.
And attitude is one of the most difficult things to change in people in general, because it's a positive or negative predisposition for something or someone. And it's something that has been studied for many psychologists. Nevertheless, it's one of the most difficult things. How do you see that the tools, that management tools, have been developed in these aspects or applied in these aspects. Otto Scharmer, for example, talks about this. He has a U lab and a U corpus of change. And he talks about consciousness, for example, which is being connected with your role in the world. And how do you see these subjects are being discussed in the Uniapac organization?
First of all, there is a need to understand your responsibility. You are a human person and you have relationship with some other persons. I used to say that the leader, the CEO of a company is also a worker. Sometimes nobody realizes that he's working. He says he is the one who will be responsible for making other persons working. No, he's a worker as well, and he has the same needs as the rest of the person. He has personal needs, he has material needs, he has psychological needs, and he has spiritual needs. All these four elements has to be equilibrated. The other element, very important, is to be convinced that if you are able to manage these four elements, you will generate a change within yourself and then a change those who are working with you. I'm not saying that the economical aspect is reduced. On the contrary, the economical aspect is key, but it's not the only one. There are some other elements that are needed to be understood. And when I'm talking about personal aspects, I'm talking about the human being, the environment. I'm talking about everything that a person needs to be alive in the long term. And here comes this sustainability aspect. Sustainability is because the person are sustainable per se, know that the company is sustainable. The persons that are related to that company are able to succeed themselves and develop themselves. So we need to generate not only economic aspect, but also respect their human needs and their personalized needs. In the last encyclica, the Pope has, I'm talking about Laudato Si, has put a very strong effort in dedication explaining about the need to have an environmentally consciousness. What does it mean? Is to be, he has a very special phrase on that aspect. He says, we have to keep our house where we do live, and the world is where we do live. But if we don't do it on a conscious basis, that the environmental aspect has to be developed and maintained to make the people live, we don't contribute to that objective. And as I said, the sustainability is that the people live. Working is key. Work is the way that the person dignifies itself because it's doing something, it's contributing with something, but has to be done in a way that the way he manages and he contributes with his working is homogeneous. What I'm saying homogeneous is that what he's doing in the company where he lives 10 or 12 hours a day is well related with his family, is related with the society, is related with the country. And everything is also related. So we have to be conscious that whenever we are working in a company, our responsibility as business leaders does not stop in the company. Is a responsibility that goes beyond that. Today, we cannot talk only about corporate social responsibility if we don't consider the society where we are working or we are developing ourselves. So this is an element that needs to be related in all the cases. The other important element to have in consideration is the coherence of the person. Sometimes business leader is very coherent with his family. He's not coherent with the business. what he says and preaches in his family. Sometimes when he changes his hat, he's now a businessman, he doesn't take care anymore about what the impact of what he's doing with the rest of the person that are working with him or in his religion. We have to be the same person all over. This is very difficult. It's not something that comes from night to day. This is why there is a need of a change of attitude. And you know what? Businessmen, we are accustomed to look to the result, the economic result. And when you do this and you work strongly for this with all the organization, it doesn't matter if it is a large or a small company. In a small company, sometimes it's easier to transmit. It's not easier to apply, but it's easier to transmit this concept. In the end, the economic result is better, and the better economic result allows you to develop the company and allows you to develop the persons. So we have to be very strong on this aspect, but this comes from a personal change of attitude.
Yes, and there are a lot of people scientists or gurus like Peter Senge that are talking about the in and out. You know, you have to have coherence. But it's. Do you think we are in a change of mindset time? Because it's like human being is divided. What you mentioned is that you do something in your home and you do something different in the company, and you don't have coherence. There is a lack of coherence, a huge lack of coherence, and this has to be with the human being because we are all human beings, and with all these crises, because we are living in a very complex system. I mean, the world is complex nowadays because its problems are complex. So, uh, do you think we need something else to promote this coherence, listening to our heart, and then acting as our heart is demanding us to?
You know, we are living in a very complex world, complex time, different aspects that we never thought before that are arising. But the basic concepts are there, values are there. And if you keep the values, the changes of the rest can happen. But if you keep and maintain your values, you generate or you are able to go through those changes in a different way. It's difficult because when you are impacted by any of the things that are happening around the world, and it makes you shake on your values, it's difficult for a person to maintain it, but it's the only thing that we do have. And the values is the relationship with the other persons, and confidentiality and trust with the other persons is part of the values. And if you don't get that trust and you are not understood enough to maintain that, you are losing the chain. All those persons that are not convinced that keeping their coherence of the way of living and the way of doing business, sooner or later will be impacted. So this is a moment in history that, first of all, allow us to present this concept for a better business in a different way. Second, everybody is realizing that the previous way of managing it was not enough because companies are not succeeding with that. They go one side to the other without knowing exactly which is their focus. So there's something that has not been proven before. And what has not been proven before in a long range, I mean, in small cases it has been, but in a long, vast majority of companies, is that the respect of the persons inside the company and outside the company has to be maintained in order to make it sustain. And this we are now able to introduce it. That is why several authors, several thinkers are introducing their concept. Maybe we in Uniapac do it from our own origin because we are believers in the Christian social thought, so we have that element that guides us. But some others don't have this. Nevertheless, they are trying to find out how this can be built up or how this can be developed through other ways. And when you compare those things, we are getting close. We are getting close to the answer of how to manage this. So I think that the moment is coming where we can explain the rest of the business leaders how we can contribute to the development of persons and in a different way, but making it soundable economically as well.
And how do you think that the Catholic religion would intervene with other um, uh, leaders like Dalai Lama? Because there is a huge tendency to meditation inside the companies, that we as Catholics do meditation when we pray also, but there is a huge amount of people nowadays trying to be more responsible with non-traditional ways.
I can give you an example. In 2013, we did a congress on business ethics in Beirut with Islamic business managers and Christian business managers. When I'm talking about Christian, and our association of Christian is all the different type of churches. It's not only Catholic, but all the rest of churches that are Christian. And let me tell you, we had really a lot of elements, common elements. So it was a surprise, but it was really very good to talk and discuss with them. When you go into all this thinking process of different, how do you call it, what I would say, Dalai Lama or any other of these religions, they're looking for something that is the guidance. And we do have a guide, because we believe in one God. And this is how we manage. Perhaps some other religions don't have this concept of one who is guiding us. The main difference is that we believe that persons are an image of God, and we find our representation of the image is in all the persons that are around us. Those are representing our God. So we believe in that. That is why we do have to be respectful. This is why we do have to be responsible for the others. And this is a change of attitude. I don't believe in destroying the other person. And what I do believe is how can I assist the other person.
And what would you say to managers, CEOs that are leading companies in Argentina? That is very, very difficult, very difficult. We know our country is not easy.
Mm-hmm.
What could you say that for those CEOs that are in crisis because they have not this coherence, or they don't feel this coherence because they feel bad, they don't feel in synchrony with their values? So how could you help them? How would we help them to realize that there is a solution, or there is a way out?
The first way out is don't do the others what you don't want to. You don't want them to do you to you. That's a very strong principle. So if you want the others to be respectful to you, you must be respectful to the others. And be strong. Go to the basics. Go to the values. Your personal values. Go there and use that as a part of your decision-making process. Go there. It will help you. It will tell you which is the best solution. But be respectful of the solution. Don't destroy the other person. The other persons are not elements, are persons. And let me tell you, once you do respect them, they will work better, they will be more efficient, they will be less costly, and they will generate profits for your company. Do that, it will help you a lot.
Okay. Well, Jose Maria, is there something that I didn't ask you that you would like to tell us?
No, thank you very much. The most important issue is how do we, on the daily basis, on our daily life, we contribute to the rest of the person that are with us. It doesn't matter if they are working or not. We are leaders, and as leaders, what we do have to do is give the example.
Thank you very much, Jose Maria. It's a big pleasure to meet you. Thank you.